Where do I look?
Hello, my name is Rafael and I'm with
Daniel.
and we have now a guest from TechCrunch, but not only. Can you say something more about yourself?
Yes, of course. So my name is Wauters from tech.eu, not TechCrunch. Although I used to work for TechCrunch back in the day for about 4 years. I was at the Next Web as well. 8 years ago I started tech.eu because I wanted to cover the European technology ecosystem in a better way. So essentially started my own blog and media and data company.
Okay, so what's now the most important thing in Europe when we are talking about new technologies? Because there's a lot of stuff going on now. For example, European is talking about the regulation for artificial intelligence. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, that's already a very specific question. I'll go back a little bit and say the big picture stuff, right? If you look at what European tech has been developed over the last 25, 30 years, they were very good in the beginning, I think in the 90s, developing very crucial infrastructure, technologies, deep tech, and then completely missed the boat on everything, social networks, operating system, hardware. All of the stuff that we use on a daily basis is not made in Europe. So I think they completely missed the boat for about 10, 15 years. And now Europe is trying to do sort of a catch-up movement, focusing more on deep tech, including artificial intelligence for sure, but also things like robotics and drones and anything machine learning related, blockchain, cryptocurrencies. A lot of innovation is happening in Europe now that is sort of more future-facing or more forward-looking than it used to, and we have to, because we missed the boat on certain technologies and certain trends, and you have to have sort of an eye on the future for the next wave. So,
do you think is blockchain still hot, or it's like?
I think we're just in the beginning, right? I mean, the protocol has now been adopted to the mainstream, but it's still, there's so many more applications that can be built on top. There's so much more awareness and education that needs to be done in the market, both like on a corporate level, but also individuals. But for a lot of people, the fact that something is blockchain powered doesn't really matter as long as it works. So there is a shift underway, sort of under the radar, that I think is very crucial. But we're just in the beginning of it, I think.
Yeah, in news, then it was like ICO spot,
Yeah.
IEO, and now it's I think NFT. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it always works in hypes, I think. But ICOs, you're right, there was a very, very big thing for a while, and then there was nothing. And also on the financial side, there was SPACs early this year where blank check companies could sort of bring companies public without all the hassle of going on the road for an IPO. That has also shifted, that is past. And now apparently NFTs are the big next thing, which I'm very skeptical about. But
And what do you in person think about cryptocurrencies? Do you have some?
I have a lot, so I do invest quite a lot in altcoins, also in Bitcoin, Ethereum, but also a bit of the altcoins, just to have my pulse on what is going on there. I like the conversations around it. I like where it is headed. I think there's a lot of bad stuff as well, but if you don't participate, you can't really form an opinion.
How you got interested in it? It was like by investing or technology?
No, it was definitely the technology behind it. I was very fascinated by how Bitcoin was conceived and how it was born and what it was used for in the beginning. And then I sort of, started looking at other cryptocurrencies and tokens and I participated in some ICOs as well, just to see what the process was like. So definitely from a technological rather than a financial incentive.
About ideology? Like freedom of...
I'm interested in the concept of it, so I like to learn about it. I'm not an activist. I'm not like a... I like hearing people talk about it, and then I can form my own opinion, but it's not that I'm the ideologist. Okay. But I'm interested in it, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but you told us that there is great need to talk about awareness. So do you think it's also very important to talk about the privacy in Europe?
Yeah, so I think privacy in Europe has always been a big topic. You can argue that we've sort of become world leaders when it comes to thinking about data privacy and protection. There is, of course, the GDPR regulation that everyone knows. But now the question is how do you make sure that stays, that you actually effectively enforce that regulation on big tech companies, and how do you export it to other countries around the world? So it's a very difficult long-term battle, but I think one of the most pressing issues of our time. I just saw the talk here at InfoShare by Brittany Kaiser, about owning your data. She's a data rights activist and Cambridge Analytica whistleblower, of course. So that I'm very interested in. Like, what happens to our data? How can you control it? How can you check what happens to your data and where it goes, after you give it away? Who sells it? What is it sold for? That sort of thing is very interesting to me. And I think Europe is a good place to be in that sense, because at least governments and people tend to care a lot more than other places in the world, I would say.
Okay. So, what do you think? What pandemic changed in technology?
So I think, like everyone says, this is not like just my opinion, but I think a lot of the stuff that we've seen during the pandemic is just an acceleration of trends that were already happening. This remote working, this no more commuting, using digital tools for things like productivity, communication, entertainment, education. These are all things that were already sort of happening. The pandemic just put a rocket ship underneath and
Sped it up.
Yeah, sped it up like crazy. And I think the world has changed completely, but we're only going to know in 5 to 10 years from now how profoundly it has changed in general. And I think it will be quite a lot, but it's very difficult to predict how things will pan out.
And what trends do you see in the next year for the next years? Yeah, what trends are hot?
Yeah, so in Europe, I think there's two very big trends that I think are very notable. One is that there is a lot more focus on everything related to sustainability, green tech, clean tech, whatever you want to call it, but innovations that will help us sort of prepare for the oncoming problems that we're going to get from climate change, right? That's going to be one of the biggest problems that humanity has ever had to face. So you can already see a shift both on the investor side, but also on the entrepreneur side, in building more solutions for that. So I think Europe needs to have a leading role there in building the right technologies, the right companies to make that change happen. Second one, I think, is healthcare. Healthcare is one of these big, convoluted, complex legacy industries, much like education, that has to radically change over time. And the only way to do that is by having technology, right? To drive innovation, but also a shift in mindset that can help us become better healthcare providers, better educators in the future. I think that those two, sustainability and healthcare, is going to be the two big trends, I think.
About artificial intelligence in healthcare?
Yeah, but artificial intelligence, in my opinion, is sort of an underlying technology that powers everything, right? It does not necessarily confined to only things like healthcare or education. It will change everything, right? But I think as we all know, artificial intelligence is not new. It's been around for 25, 30 years, but we're still very early days. I think we're still very much in the very beginning of the effect that it's going to have on the economy and society as a whole.
Now I guess China are on the first days.
China is not only investing so much in AI; they're developing AI at an incredible pace. I think people underestimate and misunderstand what China is doing, but they're way ahead of everyone else, and they're speeding up like crazy. They're accelerating their investments in AI to a degree that we can't even begin to think to follow that, right? So we're very, very much behind, and it's not going to get better. So huge problem, I think.
Isn't it dangerous for Europe?
Yeah, it is dangerous for everyone, I think. It's dangerous for China as well, So, where is this going? Is this technology going to lead to better lives for more people, or is it going to have a bad effect? Nobody knows. All we know is that there is an arms race, so it is a geopolitical power play, and China's winning. When it comes to AI, China is very definitely winning.
Yeah.
So,
even with Bitcoin and blockchain,
But sorry to interrupt you. It's not just AI, by the way. It's quantum computing. It's like supercomputing, high performance computing. They're way ahead of everyone else.
We can see how this technology is changing at Bitcoin, for example, how banks are getting this technology and transforming into their own currencies, yeah?
Yeah.
So technology isn't neutral, yeah?
That's true. And by the way, this is an interesting day to ask, because the SEC in the US is just about to approve Bitcoin ETFs, so securities. So it's going to be a big day for Bitcoin today and tomorrow, I think.
Wow.
I don't know if you own Bitcoin, but you should hold on at least until tomorrow. It will tip probably above the 60,000 price today.
Oh.
Okay. I have one question.
Yes, go on.
What's your plans for your new media?
Yeah, good question. So my company tech.eu was just acquired by a bigger media organization in Turkey. So we have plans to keep doing the same thing that we're doing, just bigger, better, more efficiently, faster. We want to really have be at the center of the European tech ecosystem development. We want everyone to sort of come to us if they need information, insights, data on whatever is going on in Europe. We want to be the one place, the one-stop shop for information. That's the plan.
Let's go.
Are you going to be at the Internet Governance Forum this year at Katowice in Poland?
No. I wish I could be everywhere, but apparently you can only be in one place at the same time. So I'm already traveling to 10 places in 3 or 4 months. So it's quite a lot already. But I never heard of the conference actually. So maybe I should look into it.
Yes, it's organized by United Nations. So I think it's very interesting. And the people are talking there about internet governance. So
Great. Yeah, I would love to have a look.
Okay.
Maybe I will make it. Yeah.
How many users do you have in tech.eu?
What do you mean users?
How many views on articles? How many users are?
It's difficult to say. I think we're about like 500,000 page views. So, by the way, we don't focus on traffic and page views as a rule because we want to be helpful to a very niche audience. The amount of people that are interested professionally in tech is very, very small. They're the investors, the entrepreneurs, but we're not looking for a mainstream audience. We want to make sure that we cater to a professional audience first and foremost. Yeah.
And you are also interested in cybersecurity on your media?
Yes, of course. I mean, we're interested in any technology. We don't make a difference in what sector you're from or what country you're from. So yeah, of course, cybersecurity is of course a big topic, much like AI and health tech and fintech. So these are topics that come up quite a lot in tech.eu as well.
Cool. I guess I have no questions.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for your
Thank
talking
you.
and for all the information you give us today.
Thank you.
It was great.
No, you're welcome. Best of luck with the platform as well.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Cool. We happy?
Yes, but we must wait because now it's...
Is it live or?
It will be like in 10 minutes.
Oh, really?
And in a half hour.
10 minutes?
yes,
That's fast.
there's a few minutes delay and after then it's published.
Right.
So,
Okay.
and we are now talking and